Oh, yeah. What's happening?
I'm already live from Madam. I need one light in my face.
If I pass that place, you see now.
So you pass back. That nigga go soon sleep.
I enjoy.
Okay. For the sake of people that will be watching later, I have to keep quiet. Let me. Okay, good evening, everyone. If you can hear me, please let me know in the comment section. I want to ensure that the audio is working and ensure that we are all ready for this class. So I'm still expecting more persons. So if you can hear me in the comment section, if you can hear me, let me know in the comment section, please. Let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. Let me know in the comment section if you can hear me. I'm waiting for you guys. This class ought to have started by now. They just get this class. So, ready for the class, right? So, if you can hear, don't carry this light. So, can you guys see me? Can you guys hear me also? If you can hear me, let me know in the comment section. Okay, I can see DJ Mia. Good day, sir. Good day, DJ Mia. You can hear me, right? All right, so let's wait for some others to join in. You can go to the group chat and send message to the group chat and invite started. All right, good everyone. If you can hear me, please put it on the comment section. Let me know you can hear me. All right, you are welcome to this class. My name is Mr. Enegide of Enegide Reproduction. And Enegide Reproduction is a media company that tells story from different events, and we have been doing this professionally for over 7 to 10 years now. And actually, we have no plan of stopping. If you can hear me, let me know in the comment section. Just say I can hear you in the comment section so I will know, so I can continue. So this class, I want this class to be as interactive as possible. So that I'm waiting for your response in the comment section. Let's so that I can continue. So I can see Harry Amuele saying good day, sir. Okay. DJ Mayor, oh, peace, Efosa. Good evening, sir. Good evening, peace. Okay, you can hear me. All right, so, all right, beautiful. Good evening, Nurse Courage in Kiru. You are welcome to this class. So, if you can hear me, you can see me also. All right, so let's continue. Now, I was introducing myself before. My name is Enegide Efe, and I am the creative director of Enegide Efe Production. Igwe Oun Precious, good evening. You're welcome to this class. So, I'm the creative director of A Negative Reproduction. A Negative Reproduction is a media company. And as a media company, we tell stories from different events, ranging from wedding, from burial ceremony, birthday parties, and the likes. And we also do documentary also. So let's say you want to do a documentary of your business, you want to do a documentary of your family, of your life, and maybe your ministry. So we have done this for some industries, for some companies also, especially the Ministry of Education some years back, and we also shot for Bank of Industry also, and many other companies like that that we have shot for. And actually doing this, oh, you can't hear me, Precious. Can you hear me now? Precious, can you hear me? And this my mic not dey work. If you can hear me, please let me know. Precious, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Hmm? And bring my mic. Let me see. It's inside my bag. Let me bring the mic. Okay. Harry can hear me. Just give me some minutes. I want to connect my mic. Let me see how it will work. Just give me some minutes, please. Okay, Peace can hear me. So, Igwe, can you hear me? Igwe Precious. Just give me some minutes. Let me connect it so we can continue. So, can you guys still hear me? All right, you can hear me, right? Let me just put it here. Okay, beautiful. Beautiful. Is it better? Is it sound better? Yes, I need your response. I know to continue. You can go. Okay, so since you can all hear me, so I will just shoot, or we don't just use the camera. Instead, we tell story with the use of camera. And we have been doing this professionally for over 7 years now. And we have no plan of stopping. So we take up jobs from different locations in Nigeria and also outside Nigeria. And we have our head office in Benin City, Edo State. And I happen to be the creative director and also your trainer for today. So without further ado, I will just get into the subject matter of today's class. Now, okay, I can still see your comments and it's showing that you can all hear me. So I'll get into the subject matter of today's class. Now, the reason why we are here today is to actually learn about photography. What is photography? And apart from learning about photography, so apart from learning about photography, we are also going to be learning about how to use our phone and how to actually operate our phone camera better and without having to make a lot of mistake that other people actually make. So let me just read out the course outline before we continue. So the course outline for this particular class is, first of all, I'm going to be introducing into photography, introduction to photography. Secondly, we are going to be talking about the exposure triangle. And thirdly, we're going to be having an interactive practical class. In this interactive class, I'm going to be expecting people to be using your chats button very much often. So please, you have to, once you get to that interactive class, you will have to be on the chat bot, on the chat box and be sending your messages. So I will be replying your message and be answering all your questions, probably maybe any question you have. And at the end of this class, I'm also going to be giving you some free tips, some tips that will help you in your photography journey, being a filmmaker or a still image production person. So we are going to be learning a lot in this class. So now let's go into the subject of today. The first thing we are going to be talking about is introduction to photography. Why am I introducing you to photography? The reason why we have to talk about the introduction to photography is because without knowing about photography, without knowing the nitty-gritty about photography, you might not actually, it's like the message is slow or what? This message is quite slow. Okay. Just if you can, since you can hear me, so just continue with me. Will be good. And don't worry, you also get replay of this class at the end of the class. I will send it to the group. So let's just continue. So wait, I stop. Um, So the reason why you have to learn what photography is because without the definition of this particular subject matter, you will not be able to fine-tune which direction you are supposed to go and why you are actually learning this skill. So if you don't know the reason why you are learning a skill, that makes it very difficult for you to apply this skill in your daily living and also to help other businesses or other person to actually make money using the same skill. So that is the reason why we're going to be learning introduction to what? Photography. And from there, we will pick it up and you are going to actually gain value from this class. Now, I'm going to be sharing my screen with you and show some presentation, so it will be easy for you to follow. Let me know. Everybody can see my screen, right? You can see my screen. If you can see my screen, let me know. Okay, you can see my screen. All right, so let's continue. So, introduction to photography. Now, what is photography? What is photography? For some of you, this might actually be your first time of class, but don't worry, I promise. What is photography? Photography is simply the art, application, and practice of creating images by recording light, either electronically by means of an image sensor or chemically by means of a light sensitive material. Don't worry, I will make this material available in it so that I can actually explain it to you. It is not definition. Most of the time, many something, but many persons cannot explain it as it were. So it is the art, application, and practice of creating images. So anything that involves you creating an image, you are actually what? Doing photography. So once you are able to create an image, whether you create it with your phone or you create it with an it's actually what? Practicing photography. So it of creating that image, that is photography. So you will see in my definition, by means of an image sensor. So image or chemically. So that is to tell you that back in the days, the people that started photography use what is called a chemical means of producing images. So unlike today that we are using digital camera and other means or other electronic means, they use what is called a chemical means by washing the image and all of that to bring out the image from it. And also we can also use some other light sensitive materials such as photography film. Now, photography is derived from two Greek words, which is photos and graphos. Photos means light and graphos means drawing or writing. So if you add the two together, what you will have is that you will have photography has a lot of light. Even in the definition, the word photo means light. So there is no how you can say you are practicing photography, you are not involving light in your definition. So you have to involve light in anything that has to do with photography. Now, for example, if I play my light from this, you can see everywhere has become, but one light source is still remaining. Abi, I still have another light source. And what am I practicing already? I'm already practicing photography. Let's say this is how I want that light. Actually, I just want it to look a bit of light coming from the side and all of that. And that is why lighting in my next class, but not in this class. You will now see how important lighting is in photography. Now, we are back online. You can see how beautiful it is. So, photography is simply drawing light or writing light. So, once you are practicing something with light, you are already what? Practicing photography. So, you are drawing light or what? Or light, or you are in it, you are already what? Practicing photography. So you see in my definition now, or in this, when we say photos, you did not say anything like image there, right? This definition. So, but in my, we are saying it is the art of creating images, right? We now separate it, photos and graphos. you see that you are just drawing light. So it has a lot to do with light. A lot to do with light. It has a lot. Once you remove light from photography, you don't have anything. So once you remove light, you don't have anything. So let so purpose of photography. What is the purpose of this class? You will notice something and you will learn something. One thing you will learn is the network. It will come back on, the network will come, it will come back, and once it comes back on, you will be able to stream the ones that I have done before. Stream it. It will just start from where you stop in the class. So it will start from where you stop. So I was saying something before the end of this class. One thing you will notice is that you will that boldness, that you know what it actually means to be a photographer. So you must not be a professional, maybe must not call yourself that professional as it were, but you know what photography is. Now, what is the purpose of photography? Why do we need photograph? So why do we need to practice? We need to draw light. Why? Now, I put off this light the other time. We saw another mini. We saw another outlook of me, Abi. Can put off the other one and you will see another outlook. It will look as if something is happening, something is different. Now, if my purpose of this video, of this picture that you are seeing as video now, is for you not to see my face, I will just do something like this. You won't see my face again. So you can be seeing it little by little. So every photograph has a purpose. That is what it means. So that is why we are going to be looking at the purpose of photography. So photography is used for a wide range of purpose, including one, artistic expression. So you can use photograph to express your vision, your emotions, and your concepts. Like if you see one of my video I did earlier, I was doing a shoot with some models and preparing for my art exhibition. And those pictures I'm taking in that art exhibition is for the purpose of my art exhibition. And that picture will express my vision, how I see things, my emotion, and my concept. So looking at that picture ordinarily, you can see all of those things. And that is what it means to use photograph as an artistic expression. So that is one way you can use photograph. Number two is for documentation. So whether it is a picture or is a moving picture, which you normally call video. Are you getting me? So if it's a picture or a moving picture, we can use photography as documentation. So I hear many people say, I am a videographer. Say, I am not a photographer, I am a videographer. See, don't use words loosely. There is nothing like, I'm not saying like the word itself is not correct, but everybody that uses camera or an object to capture light is a photographer. So whether you are capturing it in a systemic manner and in a moving manner, which we call video, you are a photographer. So stop missing the word. So I will continue. So documentation. So we can use it for documentation. Like for example, I'm recording this video, which we are going to be using for, uh, we are going to be viewing it later. Somebody could not connect. I don't know. Maybe it's your network. Check your network very well. I just got a WhatsApp notification that someone could not connect. So check your network very well. Should be able to connect. So you can use photography for documentation. It can be used to record events, moments, and scenes. So that is why when somebody call you for say burial or a wedding. They just want to record it. So some of them might not want it to be creative. They just want to record it. So they just want to have a memory of it. They want to be able to play back the memory through that particular photograph or video that you have taken. So that is another purpose of using photography. And number three on my list, we have commercial work. So photography can be used for commercial purposes such as advertising, product photography, and event photography. I heard somebody was telling me this afternoon that I should do a class on food photography. I will do it later in the year, but not now, because food photography is another aspect of photography that is just on a class on its own. So it requires a lot of, you know, it requires a lot of skill for you to be able to do that. So for scientific and technical applications, so you can also use photography in the science laboratory, in the lab, where you see there are some cameras that are actually made specifically for that purpose. And the kind of lens that those cameras use, we call them macro lens. So the same way you have macroorganism, um macroorganism, we have macro lens that can take picture of macroorganisms. So there are photographers that are specifically for that purpose. So you can see that photography is wide. So being a photographer is actually an interesting work, and it covers a wide range of things. It covers a wide range of people also. So and it is actually very, very what? Interesting. So let's move on. The next one, we're going to be looking at the key elements in photography. So, the reason why I'm hastening this class up to the part that I really want to talk about today, that will actually help you even while you are using your phone. Because all of these parts, if you don't know them, you will not be able to relate with those other ones very well. So that is the reason why I want to use the first 1 hour of this class to explain it very well, so you will understand it very well. So what are the fundamental things in photograph? The key elements in a photograph. Number one, you will have light. So the fundamental element, like I said before, light is very important in photography. So light is what you captured and what you manipulate to create an image. So what does your camera captures? Your camera captures light. So your camera light to create an image. So your camera does not just go out there to go and capture any other thing. It is light. So once you put off the light, camera can't see anything again. So you will have to put on the light back for a camera to see something. Are you getting me? If you can hear me, please let me know in the comment section. So another key element you have to know in a photograph is your camera. Your camera. So this is the device that you use to capture light and record images. So that is your camera. So it's your device. So first thing you need to take note of is light. From the definition already, you're already knowing that light is very important in photography. So that is why when you see a photographer that doesn't have light, maybe an extra light or an artificial light that is working with, you can already tell that those images or those videos will not have quality in them. That means they won't come out very well. So light is very important. Camera also is very important. We also look at lens. So a crucial part of camera that focuses light onto the image sensor or film. So that is the lens. It is through the lens that the light pass through. So just like your eye in your body, if you shut your eye, you can't see any light, you can't see anything. But once you open your eyes, it will look as if everywhere just became bright, except if the whole environment is actually dark on its own. So if the whole environment is dark, then you will not see anything. But if it's not dark, once you open your eye, you are supposed to see. So your eye is like where the light passes through before your brain records it. The same way with the camera. The light, the lens rather, is where the light passes through. So listen to this. So the lens is where the light passes through, because we're going to be talking about it in the exposure triangle. So the lens is where the light passes through to enter your camera. So if you are able to block some part of the lens, that means the light that enters into your camera will be reduced, and therefore giving you a dark image. But if you are able to manipulate the lens in such a way that too much light did not enter into the camera through the lens, then you are actually what? Controlling it. And that is why we are here, because we want to come and learn how your camera can manipulate light to create an image. So that is the most important thing. So learning how your camera can what? Manipulate light to create an image. So we'll look at composition. So the arrangement of elements within a photograph, which plays a vital role in creating an engaging and visually appealing image. So that is your composition. Composition is the arrangement of elements within an image. So you see an image, for example, this image now, there are other, this camera that is here, there are other elements within the image, which is this rock. You can also see the background that is white. That is an element. So the composition is how you arrange those elements in within that image, within that photograph. That is your composition. Then we'll look at exposure. So the exposure is close to light. So your exposure is how you now intentionally yourself, you intentionally expose the camera to light. And that is where we are coming to when we are going to be talking about the exposure triangle. That is where we are coming to, because how you intentionally now expose your camera to light. So there is an intentionality with it. There is an intentionality with it. So if you are not intentional, the camera will function on its own. But if you are intentional, the camera will function the way you want it to function. Are you getting it? So if you are getting any value, let me know in the comment section. If you are getting any value, if you are learning something new that you don't know before, just let me know in the comment section. I want to hear it. I want to see it. It encourages me. It helps me know that you are following also. So, and the last thing you will see there is the what? The post production, the processing. So, which in this case is editing the captured image to enhance or alter them. So you can either enhance your image or you alter them. So these are the key elements in a photograph. So when you see a photograph, it means that these 6 things have actually what? Been tampered with. These 6 things have actually been put into consideration to have a perfect image or a beautiful image, as it were. So for you to have a beautiful image, you must have what? Tampered with these 6 things that I have mentioned. Now let's get down to the exposure triangle. So I believe we have been learning something so far. We have been learning something so far. Okay. Yes, sir. Yes, sir is not. Let me know what you have learned. It's not yes, sir. Let me know what you have learned. If you can, if you have been hearing me, you have been one thing you have learned that is new to you, that you can say that this thing I've picked it from this class. Let me hear it in the comment section. One thing that I have been saying that is peculiar to you, that you know that yes, you have learned from this class. Let me hear it in the comment section. Let me hear it. I want to hear it. So let's talk about the exposure triangle. What is the exposure triangle? What does it mean? Why is it triangle? Why is it exposure? Before now, I've already explained what exposure mean, right? Exposure is the amount of light that reaches the camera sensor or film, controlled by what? Aperture, shutter speed, and ISO settings. We will talk about the aperture, the shutter speed, and the ISO settings. So these are the three settings that are the most important thing you need to know as a photographer. Once you are able to understand your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO, you are as good as a professional. So your ability to be able to manually control your shutter speed, your ISO, and your aperture is what makes you a professional photographer. That is what differentiates you from every other person out there. So what is exposure triangle? The exposure triangle in photography refers to the relationship between aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. So as I mentioned aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, I know many of you are already wondering what is aperture oh, what is shutter speed oh, and what is ISO? Just calm down. That is why you are in this class. I'm going to explain. So three crucial camera settings that determine how much light reaches the sensor. You can see the way we are measuring light anyhow. Light. How much light enters the camera, how much light reaches the sensor, how much light. So, like I said for my definition, photography is about light. Once you remove light from photography, then there is no photography. So once you remove light from photography, there is no photography. So ultimately, okay, let me just continue from where I stopped. So three crucial camera settings that determine how much how much light reaches the sensor, ultimately controlling the brightness and overall exposure of the image. So these three elements are interdependent. Adjusting one often requires adjusting another to maintain the desired exposure. So that means these three settings are the settings that you must adhere to if you are to have a proper image. So if I was to be using camera for this particular class, the reason why I didn't use camera is because many people didn't register for the class as it were, and the amount that I put in for the class is not enough for me to now put on many things, now put up all the setup. It's not like I don't know how to set it up, but I cannot be using all my money to set up for a class that's of that amount. So if you want a proper setup, maybe in my next class I'm going to do a very proper setup so that everybody will see how it looks like to actually set up for a class. So you will see different lights, and even for this one you are also already seeing the light coming from different angle. One helping my face, my brightness, I can remove it. I have removed it. You can see the other one. So that is the yellow one coming from the side. So you can see. So that is the function of lighting in photo. So photography is just all about light. So we're going to be breaking down the three different settings, which is the aperture. We'll look at the aperture first. Now, what is the aperture? The aperture is the opening. Okay, the aperture controls the opening of the lens. Let me just read what is here. The opening in the lens that controls the amount of light that enters the camera. The opening in the lens that controls the amount of light that enters the camera. So if you check your camera, or if you check the lens of your camera, you will see that it can roll. There is a place there where you can roll it. I didn't carry lens, I would have showed you. I left it in the office. So there's a place where you can roll it. When you roll it, if you roll it, you will see a place that is opening and is closing inside the lens. See a place opening and closing. That is where the aperture is controlling. So the more you reduce the aperture, the more the place opens up. The more you increase the aperture, the more the place closes up. So aperture is measured in f-stop, and a smaller number, that is what I say, if you reduce it, indicates a larger aperture. The lens will open up. So once the lens open up, what happen? Light comes in the camera, right? light will enter the camera. When you open up, light will enter the camera. So the more you reduce the aperture, it allows light to enter the camera, therefore making the image you are capturing with that camera to be what? Bright. So the image you are capturing with the camera will be bright when you reduce your aperture. So what happen when you reduce your aperture is that lens is opened. Your eyes is open, just like your eye, you open it. When you open it, what happen? You see plenty light rush in. So if you want to do the experiment now, close your eyes now. When you close your eyes, now open it, you will just see the light entering your eyes, rushing in. That is how the aperture behaves. The aperture is what controls the lens. It's like it is the major settings that controls the lens. So that is why it's measured in f-stop. And once you reduce it, you open it up. But when you increase it, you are increasing the number. So it is measured in numbers. It ranges from, for some lens, so it depends on the type of lens also. But we are not going to be talking about the type of lens in this class. Maybe in the next class I'm going to be talking about it. But it depends on the type of lens. But aperture ranges from 1 point, as low as 1.2 f1.2 to as high as 12, 14 for some camera, depending on the camera also. So that is why we have different type of camera and different type of lenses. But what aperture does is that it controls the light that enters into the camera. So having this knowledge, you'll be able to operate any phone or any camera that shows you aperture. So you know what happens when you reduce it, and you know what happens when you increase it. So when you reduce it, what happen? Light rush in to the lens, therefore making the image to be brighter than it was before. So if you want the image to be dark, what will you simply do with your aperture? You increase it. When you increase the number of the aperture, what happen? The image all of a sudden becomes dark. Why? Because light that entering the lens at that particular point in time is not what? As much again. Are you getting it? So little light will be able to enter, therefore making the picture that that lens and that camera is capturing at that point in time to be what? Dark, because the light is not entering as it's supposed to. That is aperture for you. There are other definition of aperture, but in this class I'm relating it to how it works with light. How it works with light, because that is what you need to know to be able to take a good photograph for this class, for the purpose of this class. So next, okay, let me just talk about this. Aperture also controls the depth of field. If you have seen some pictures, you will see a picture that have, okay, let me use this white picture. This one that is white here. Let me go to the image. This white one here. You see that the background, it looks as if it's blur, it's looking like a bouquet or something, and one part of it is just sharp. So this is a function of lens and it's a function of aperture. When you reduce the aperture very much, although when as light is entering inside, I don't want to confuse you people, but I believe you can take it. As light is entering inside, is knowledge, so it's not too much. As light is entering inside, another thing that it's doing is that it is making the lens to what? To be able to form bouquet, creating a depth of field in the image. Now I'm saying a lot of things now. So I will now have to explain what depth of field means. Let's finish this aspect first. Then we can go back to that one later if time permits. So let's look at ISO. So you know what aperture, how aperture works with light, right? You know it now. Let's look at the next one, which is ISO. Let me look at ISO before I go back to shutter speed. Now, ISO, which we call the International Standard Organization, I'm not the one that formed it. but that is what is called International Standard Organization. That is the full meaning if you want to ask me. But what does the ISO do? So the sensitivity of the camera sensor to light. A higher ISO setting makes the sensor more sensitive. So it controls the sensitivity of the camera sensor to light. So when you say something is sensitive to light, e sharp, like e dey active. So the more you increase your ISO, the more active your camera becomes to respond to light. So when something is more sensitive, more active to respond to light, when you increase it, what do you think will happen when you increase it? More light will enter, right? Because once you increase it, it becomes more sensitive. So if you don't want it to be more sensitive, you want it to become less sensitive to light, what will you do? You will reduce it. So you don't want it to be too active, you no wan make e just dey shark. You understand? So you reduce it. So once you reduce your ISO, what happen? It becomes less sensitive to light. It becomes less sensitive to light, and therefore making your image to be dark or reducing the brightness in that image. So that is what ISO does. So it controls the sensitivity of the image sensor. So you know how sensor work now. Let's say a sensor in a car, for example, a sensor in a car. Let's say the sensor that controls when the car is getting close to a bad, maybe not a bad spot. Let's say a pillar, for example. There are some cars, Lexus cars are like that. I drove one recently, and once it's getting close to a pillar or a, what would I call it now? An obstacle, yeah, that is the word. So when it's getting close to an obstacle, it start beeping, pam 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 pam. So they put a sensor in front of the car to be able to detect when it's close to an object that is not in open space. So when it's getting close, it becomes sensitive and it gives you signal. That is the same way the ISO is that sensor, is the controller of that sensor. So how you want that sensor to be sensitive is through the ISO that you control it. If you want it to be highly sensitive, you control it, you increase it in your camera, it becomes highly sensitive. If you want it to be less sensitive, you also what? Control it through your camera by what? Reducing it, so it becomes less sensitive. So your camera becomes less sensitive to light. Are you getting it? Is it simple now? Let me get a response please. If you are following, I want us to be following. I want us to be following so that it will not look like I'm teaching myself. So it becomes what? Less sensitive. I can see you. Okay. Yes, sir. All right. I see that you are following. All right. So let's continue. So it becomes what? Less sensitive if you reduce it, and it becomes more sensitive when you increase it. That is how it works. That is how it works. That is how it works. So allowing it to capture images in low light conditions, but it can also introduce more noise or grain into the image. So it has its advantage and it has its disadvantage. But for professional use, I normally don't put my ISO higher than 1600, because at that 1600, when you are indoor, even when you need more light, you need the sensitivity of the camera to be high to light. If you overdo it, it will create noise in your image and you won't like that, because the image will now be having noise. Have you seen all those old TV that will be doing shh? That noise that they used to bring, that's what we call noise in an image. So if you don't want that in your image, you tend to what? Reduce the sensitivity of the camera to light by reducing your ISO. Are you getting it? So as a rule, I don't normally increase my ISO. I find every possible means to reduce the sensitivity of the camera to light if it is possible, and that is why you will see most photographers uses external light in their image. So they use external light in their image. Oh, beautiful. I'm reading Precious. Precious said, I've learned that light passes through lens, which means any blockage of the lens will dim the camera. Beautiful. You can see. That is what I want to see on the comment section so that I will know that you guys are following and you guys are learning. All right, so let's continue. We'll talk about lastly, we will now talk about the shutter speed. Now, if you have been following this class, you will have noticed something that it looks like photography is simple than I think. It is simple because you see a good teacher that is simplifying it for you. Okay, so don't take away the place of the teacher. If the teacher is not good enough to simplify it for you, you will just know them shutter speed, ISO and aperture. They are just sensitivity, and you will not be able to differentiate them at the end of the day. So even for a layman with this knowledge, you can get it. Oh, you say ISO. Don't worry, I think you are still behind. Just continue streaming it. Continue streaming it. I've already explained ISO. So continue streaming it. You will see it in front. Or maybe when you play it back. Or maybe after this class, I will not explain it. But let me just explain shutter speed. So we have already passed the ISO. I will just explain shutter speed. So what is shutter speed? Shutter speed have to do with that word speed. Let's separate it so that you will get it. We have shutter and we have speed. So when you use the word shutter, it means you are shooting something, right? Then speed, it has to do with time, the speed, distance over time. That is okay. I'm going to say I've learned that photography is all about light. Beautiful. Photography is about light. So when we talk about speed, we'll say shutter speed. Speed is just distance over time. So the distance, the time it takes for the camera to, this is how I define it. The time that it takes camera to capture the image, that is short. It takes the camera to capture is what is the shutter speed. So how long does it take this camera to capture this image? That is the shutter speed. So the duration for which the camera shutter stays open, allowing light to reach the sensor, that is shutter speed. So the time that the shutter stays open, allowing light, you can hear light again inside this definition now, to reach the sensor. So the time that it stays open, so there's a particular time it stays open. When you hear pra, so that pra, before you do that pra, before your camera do that cra, 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 right? That time that is taking before you now do that cra, sometimes you will hear very fast, very fast. It means that the shutter is very, very high. That means the shutter speed rather, is very high. That is why it is capturing it faster. So the shutter speed was very high. That is why it is capturing it faster. Are you getting it? So if the shutter speed is very high, the camera will capture the image faster. So if the shutter speed is not so high, faster. So I think the network, okay, is back on. So if you reduce the shutter speed, the camera will capture, the sensor will be, the time the sensor will be open be longer. So the sensor will open for long time, allowing light to enter. Are you seeing it now? It will be open for a longer period of time, allowing light to enter, to pass through the sensor. So the major thing here is the sensor. So you can see a triangle now. The three of them controlling the sensor at the same time. One controls the sensor by opening it up. The other one controls the sensor, the sensitivity of the sensor, while the third one, which is now, controls the time the sensor is open for light to pass through. Can you see now? So why why did they not just put it in one? No, they cannot put it in one because each of those settings also actually what have different other function they perform. So it has to be in these three settings. You will be able to what? Manipulate light that comes into your camera the way you want it. To manipulate the light that enters into your camera the way you want it to be. So now the shutter speed is in distance over time. So the distance over time. So most of the time, the distance, in short, all the time, the distance of that camera to any image is always constant. And that is why you will see 1 over in your camera. You will see 1 over. So when you see 1 over, whether it's in your phone camera also, you will see 1 over. Once you see 1 over, for those of you using phone, go to your Pro in your phone, PRO. When you see Pro, click on let me go to my phone. I'm coming. My phone camera. I've used my phone camera to take an image of a moving fan and I saw the blade. I actually have a fan here. We can practicalize it. So you go to Pro. Yeah. So when you go to Pro, you will see ISO, you will see white balance, you will see shutter speed and all of that. So with this knowledge, you will be able to what? Separate all of them and know how to use each of them very well. Now, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please, this is a YouTube channel. Go and subscribe to this channel and give this video a thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up. I want to see your thumbs up. I want to see your love. I want to see your like because we have been sharing something that you have not heard, probably not heard before, or you are hearing it for the first time, or maybe you are hearing it in a different way. And I believe you have been gaining value since morning. So let me see the thumbs up. Give this video a thumbs up. It will help us reach many other persons. And also don't forget to subscribe to this YouTube channel. So subscribe to this YouTube channel. It will be doing us a lot of good. So let's continue with the class. So we're talking about shutter speed. Shutter speed. So shutter speed is simply what? Distance over time. So the distance is always constant at 1. And the time it takes the camera, just take the simple definition, the time it takes the camera to capture the image, that is the shutter speed. So if you reduce the speed, then the camera will take longer time, right, to capture the image. Then if you now increase the speed, the camera takes shorter time. Are you seeing it? The speed, you increase it. So it will take the camera shorter time to capture the image. So the camera will be very fast in capturing the image. So if it's very fast in capturing something, what happen? It reduces the light that enters at that point in time it's capturing the image. So you can use your shutter speed to reduce the light that enters into your camera. That is the same way you can also use your shutter speed to increase the light that enters into your camera. You can see how it works now. So, and that is the function of your shutter speed. So A longer shorter speed captures more light but can also lead to motion blur if the subject or camera moves photographs if the subject moves or the camera moves. So another thing that your shutter speed can cause is that it can cause blurriness of image if because the camera is now taking so much time to capture the image. When you reduce it, you can see so much time is sluggishly capturing the image, and therefore what happens? It's what? It makes your image to what? Maybe if your image now moves, that is when you see somebody that is talking now, the person now do his hand, the hand will now be what? Blurry. It will now be blurry. It will look as if you can see now, like this camera that I'm using now is not able to capture, so the shutter speed is low. I can see. Why? Because as I move my hand very fast now, you can see all the blurriness that is coming. The shutter speed is very low. So it's not capturing the image at a very high shutter speed. But if it was to be a camera that I can control now, you will see I will now go and set the shutter speed at high shutter speed so that even if I do my hand like this, you will not be seeing all this blurriness that is coming from the hand. So you can see my hand. So photography is practical. Photography is mathematics. It's mathematical. So you can actually practice it. You can actually, you know, you can actually determine what will happen and what will not happen. Now let's move forward. So the next thing we are going to be talking about is why is it called a triangle? So by now with my explanation, you should have already know why it is called a triangle. So the triangle concept highlights the interconnectedness of these three settings. So you can see that the three settings align with each other. They are interconnected, interwoven. So adjusting one requires consideration of the others to maintain the desired brightness. Adjusting one setting, you must put the other one into consideration to maintain brightness. So you might need to either increase the aperture or increase the ISO to compensate for the increased light entering the camera, or both. Understanding the relationship between these elements is key to controlling the brightness, depth of field and motion blur in your photograph, ultimately allowing you to create the image you envision. So there is some image you have in your head. Storytelling starts from the mind. So most of the time you want to capture a picture, you want to capture an image, you already have a picture in mind. Before starting this class, I already have a picture of how I want my video to look like. So I've already prepared my light in case NEPA decide to do what they like, which they did, this Nigeria. So I've already prepared how my light will look like, and because I want to use it for example. Do you understand? So exposure triangle, reason for this triangle is that, okay, yeah, I was talking about, I missed my point, I missed my line there, my line of thought. So I was talking about how image used to form. Image forming starts from the mind. So you want to create an image, you have already created it in your mind before now coming to the physical to create it. So when you create image in your mind, you create your story in your mind. Then when you come to the physical to now create it is now looking hard. Why? Because you have not actually mastered the art of creating that image physically. So everybody have an image in their mind, especially when you are dealing with some clients. They already have how they want their picture to look like, but they cannot bring it to life. So that is why they need you, the photographer or the videographer or any other profession that you are using this for, cinematographer. They need you to bring that their image that they have envisioned to life, and that is what they are paying you for. So if you are unable to bring it to life, then you will now have issue with your client. Your client will now be telling you, I cannot pay for this service oh, or I don't understand what this image look like. Are you getting it? So please, if you have not subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel and hit the notification button. Also, like and comment. I want to see your comments. I want to see your likes. I want to see your love. You can click on the love button. You can click on the like button if you are gaining value. Thank you very much. So we'll move to the next segment for today. So we'll close that. So the next segment for today, I'm going to be talking about, we want to talk about, we're moving to the practical aspect. So I want you people to be active on this comment section. I'm not getting enough response from you guys. So interactive practical session. So now let's get down with it. I've been teaching about a lot of things. Very, I've been teaching about a lot of things since. So I want you people to maybe, if you want to ask any question, if you have anything that you are confused about, you have something that you are not so clear about, maybe not from the teaching, but maybe generally, just drop it on the comments section about photography, about photograph and how, maybe your expectation for this class. Want me to talk about phone photography because that is the aspect we're moving into now for the next 30 minutes before the end of this class. Oh, Jesus. So I'm waiting. If you're online, let me see your comments. Or is it the comments that is delaying? Okay, you are active. Good. So if you have any question, if you have any confusion, you have anything that you are not so clear about when it comes to, and some anything you want to just know about camera, because we are done with the exposure triangle, which is the main take in this class. Once you have that knowledge, okay, concerning the ISO, I didn't get the explanation very well. Okay, ISO is simply, let me project it so you will be seeing it as I'm talking about it. Yes, I'm going to say I didn't get the ISO part very well. Didn't get the ISO part very well. Let me go back to the ISO. All right, this is ISO. So can you see it? Okay, see it very well now. All right, so let me just quickly explain it. So you were not the only one that complained about this ISO thing. Another person complained, Precious, Precious Igwe complained not understanding ISO. So let me just explain it. So ISO is simply the sensitivity of the camera sensor to light. So sensitivity, response, how does the sensor respond to light? Does it respond to light very fast? It's two ways. It can either respond to light very fast, or it can also respond to light in a slow manner. So if it responds to light very fast, very, very fast, it means that it will it will encourage more light to come inside the camera sensor. But if its response to light is very low, that is the camera sensor, if its response to light, e no dey quick respond to light, e doesn't respond to light sharply, it's not sharp with response. That means when it sees light, it will not recognize it fast, therefore making the light that comes in at that particular setting that is not responding to light very fast very low. That means the light that will now come in will be very low. So what does that tells you? It ranges in numbers from 100 in some cameras especially Nikon cameras, lower than 100. Some H something something, you will see some H numbers, they are lower than 100, but in Canon camera it starts from 100. Then in Sony camera also is lower than 100. Yeah, Sony camera is lower than 100. So it has ranges from 100, let me just use that 100, to 2,000, 3,000 in some camera, 4,000 in some cameras, while in some cameras 2,006 or so, 2,005. So with any number that you put it, it means that it will be sensitive to light in that number. So if the number is low, its sensitivity will be low. Therefore, the light that will enter the camera will be low. But if the number is high, if you increase the number, the sensitivity of that lens, of that camera to light will be high. So anywhere the camera sees light, it picks it very fast. That is sensitivity. It is sensitive to it. It picks it very fast. It is sharp with sensitivity. So it picks it very fast. And therefore, what does that tells you? It means that it will be able to capture the light, to be able to capture more light that comes into the camera. Did you get it? So the more you increase the ISO, the more light comes into the camera. The more you reduce it, the less light comes into the camera. So the more you increase the ISO, the more sensitive the camera becomes to light. The more you reduce the ISO, the less sensitive the camera is to light. Simple like that. Have you gotten it now? Harry and Precious, have you gotten it? So when you are using your phone or your camera to take picture or video, you what? Observe all of these settings and you will just be good to go. So in my next class, we are going to be talking about how to use light for your image. We're going to be looking at how to use light. So once you have known these settings, you now need to understand how to use light so that you don't see, sometimes when you are taking videos in your phone camera, you will see light, it will just look as if light goes. I will do okay, beautiful, you got it now. So I will do a video, I will send it to the group, this group that we for the purpose of this class, I'll send it to the group. How that when you are doing a video on your phone, you will see, you are welcome, Harry. So when you are doing a video on your phone, you will see light, you will see light going up and down in your video. Have you experienced that before? How many of you have experienced that? You will see light going up and down. It will look as if it's bright. All of a sudden, when you touch the screen, it becomes dark. If you do it again, it will be bright. If you touch it again, it will become dark. That thing is because you are not set, you are not in control of the light of the camera, of that your phone camera. That means it is actually in auto. So it determines the lighting by itself. That's why it's doing like that, going up and down, going up and down by itself. So that lighting is in auto at that point in time. So you have to put it in manual. To put it in manual, you just take it to pro. So when you take it to pro, you put it in manual. Or you can download what is called Black Magic Camera on your phone. When you download Black Magic Camera, all these settings, all this ISO, shutter speed and aperture that works with the normal camera, you will see it in you will see it in that Blackmagic camera, and you will be able to maximize it. I will also drop a video on how you can download it. For those that are using Android phone, you might not be able to download it directly from Play Store. So I'll drop a video and a link to download it on the group also. So you can download the Blackmagic camera so that you can control your ISO, your shutter speed, and your aperture through your camera. And you can also use it to record video. I mean, it's very amazing. Some photographers, I like calling them photographers, but they will say videographers. Some content creators are actually already using it. And for those of you that are doing business and all of that, you want to record your videos yourself, use Blackmagic camera on phone. With Blackmagic camera, you'll be able to set all of these settings by yourself on your phone. And with this knowledge from this class, you'll be able to set it by yourself and also use it professionally. And you might not actually need to employ any content creator except if you have the money and you just okay. I'm seeing a question. I did a job one time about a year ago. After recording, when I was editing it, I discovered that the video was slow. Now I understand why. Thank you very much, sir. Oh, you are welcome. Yeah, the video will be slow. Why? Because of your shutter speed. So your shutter speed was very low, and that is the reason why the video is slow. So when you have this knowledge, there is no fear again about, because you will actually know what you are doing. You will know what you are doing, and there will not be any reason to be afraid of what is coming. Is it only Harry that is in this class? Let me hear from the rest of you. If you have any question, because this class will end in the next 8 minutes. By 9:30, we're out of here. So you will get the replay for those that want to listen to it over again. You get the replay. We will not upload this video live. It's only meant for this live streaming because it's a paid class and people paid for it. So I'm not going to give it to the public. If you want to get it, you will have to also want to pay for it. So I appreciate everyone for coming tonight, and I want to say thank you very much for being here, especially for those that have been from the beginning of this class and are still here till now. You guys are the real MVPs, and you guys are really doing well. I look forward to having this session with you again and many other sessions. In short, in negative reproduction, we have been having classes like this, just that this is our first class on YouTube. But we have been having classes like this on other platforms. Like I had a class about AI masterclass, which we were able to bring on board the a virtual assistance that is known all over Africa, Uganda, Ghana, Sierra Leone, and some other African countries. The person of Mrs. Glory Banichuka. So she actually enlightened us, and from there, I've been able to actually create AI videos and know much about AI. In short, some of the AI software I'm using today, she actually mentioned them in that class, and I was able to get a glimpse of it. And if you want to, be getting current about many photography tips and many things about photography, we are current and we always bring current things to you. Next in line, I'm going to be teaching about lighting. In short, if you know any business owner that want to learn about lighting, that really want to improve their photography game, photography, videography, and cinematography game, they need to register for that class and be a part of it. So you have seen how it is and you have tasted of it. So go on, tell other people about what you have seen and what you have tasted of today, because we are coming in hot for you people, and I am ready for you. My name remains Enegide Efe, and I'm your host for today. And this company is Enegide Efe Production. It is a media company that tells story from different events. You want to know more about us? You can check us on Instagram at Enegide Efe Production, Facebook Enegide Efe Production, and also on TikTok Enegide Efe Production. I want to also appreciate everyone that ensured that this class hold. Thank you very much to all my students and my CWE students at the studio. Thank you very much, Ari, Angel, and the rest of, and most especially, I will not forget um, Roland. Thank you very much. You did an amazing job. Roland did the slide that you people have been watching since he did it. So if you need anything that has to do with design, Canva, and all of that, it can help you with that. So, thank you very much, everyone, for attending, and I will see you in my next class. Peace out. Since you don't have any other question now, so I think we are done with this class already. And if you have any other question, you can drop it on the group. From there, we'll pick it up. I'll drop the video to download your Black Magic on the group also, the Black Magic camera, and from there we'll roll. All right, see you everyone. Good night and have a good sleep. Bye bye.